two powerful families had been at war for generations. Sarah found herself caught in the middle, trapped in an arranged marriage to end the feud. "You must marry their son," her father had said to her, his eyes weary. Sarah's heart sank, but she nodded, knowing her duty. Miles away, Jack, tall and brooding, received similar news. He clenched his fists, but stayed silent, anger simmering inside. Their wedding day dawned gray and cold. Sarah shivered in her white gown, feeling more alone than ever. Jack stood stiffly at the altar, his face a mask. As she walked down the aisle, she caught sight of Jack, her husband-to-be. He was handsome, with dark hair and strong features, but his eyes were cold. As they said their vows, their eyes met briefly. Jack's face was blank. That night after the wedding, Jack's words cut deep. "This marriage was just for show," he said coldly. "Expect nothing more." Sarah turned away, silent tears soaking her pillow. Days turned to weeks. Life in Jack's home was hard. Sarah tried to make the best of things, but Jack's family was cruel. They whispered mean words behind her back. Jack saw it all but said nothing. Sarah missed her home, her parents, the warmth of belonging. But home was days away by horse, an impossible journey alone. Weeks passed. Sarah grew pale and quiet. One evening, she was alone in the garden, sobbing quietly. Jack, walking by, heard her cry. Something in him stirred. He'd seen her pain for weeks but ignored it. Now, seeing her so broken, he felt hurt. Quietly, he approached. "Sarah," he said softly. She looked up, eyes red and puffy. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice shaky. "Are you cold?" he asked softly, surprising himself. "A little," she admitted. Without a word, Jack took off his cloak and wrapped it around her shoulders. Jack's heart ached. He realized how strong Sarah was, facing his cruel family every day, all alone. "I'm sorry," he whispered, sitting beside her. "I've been awful to you." Sarah looked up, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I'm fine," she whispered, but her voice cracked. Something shifted in Jack's heart. He saw her, truly saw her, for the first time. Her strength, her grace, her sadness. The warmth of the gesture wasn't lost on Sarah. For the first time, she saw a glimmer of kindness in his eyes. From that day, things began to change. Jack started noticing Sarah more. He found reasons to talk to her, to be near her. Sarah felt a warmth grow in her heart. Jack's small kindnesses were like sunshine after a long winter. They started taking walks together. Jack showed Sarah his favorite spots. She taught him games from her childhood. Jack found himself looking forward to seeing Sarah's smile. Sarah's heart would skip when Jack entered a room. One starry night, they sat in the garden. Jack reached for Sarah's hand. "I never thought I'd say this," he said softly, "but I'm glad we're married. You've become my whole world." Sarah's eyes shimmered with happy tears. "Me too," she whispered. Their first kiss was sweet and gentle. It felt like coming home after a long journey. When Jack's family lashed out at Sarah as usual, he finally found his voice. "Enough," he roared one day, surprising everyone. "Sarah is my wife, and you will treat her with respect." Sarah's heart swelled with gratitude and a deep, warm love. Sarah stood tall beside him, no longer the scared girl who arrived at the castle. The castle that once felt like a prison to her became a home filled with love. And though her old family was far away, she had found a new family in Jack's arms.